why mate guarding is one of the most blue pill beta behaviors, low value behaviors that you could ever possibly demonstrate to your girl, to your chick, to your wife, whoever it is that you are dating. This is the worst type of behavior you could ever display around her, is mate guarding. Basically showing her that you are jealous, right? You're possessive, okay? That you have one-itis, okay? This communicates all of the wrong things to the chick, okay? When you're mate guarding, it communicates that you're insecure with yourself. You lack self-belief that you can replace her, right? You lack the self-confidence to just feel good in your own body without constantly worrying about what she's doing. You know, you rely on her presence in order to feel complete. It just shows you have not achieved your own freedom as a man. Whenever I see a guy mate guarding, I mean, I know that relationship it's like a ticking time bomb. You know, at some point it's just going to explode. It's going to end, right? Every chick that I've seen date a guy that got jealous over her or possessive over her was not with that guy, you know, a year later when I ran into her again. And it's almost like these guys never learn. You know, and the thing you have to understand is when you mate guard, you lose the girl's respect instantly. Like all that alpha street cred that you had with her, that badass dude that she thought you were when you first met her, all that goes out the window, right? Now you are just some like low value beta bitch that is needy, clingy, and now she's like, instead of her imagining what your future is going to be like together, she's imagining how she's going to break up with you at some point. These women do not stay with these type of guys. If you are that type of guy, this is something you need to fix immediately. And where does mate guarding come from? Mate guarding comes from a scarcity mindset, right? It comes from a mindset where you think that, like, you know, she's more valuable than what she is. She's worth more than you are. As a guy, you have to remember, especially a red pill guy, time is on your side, okay? The older we get, the better we get. The higher our SMV goes, along with our bank accounts and our social status, right? Her looks are perishable, okay? Father Time is not on her side. It's on our side. So there's some basic truths you have to realize as a man, you know, and these just needy, clingy little bitch behaviors that you demonstrate are never going to help you with these chicks, right? These are just some very, very basic blue pill mindsets that you need to get rid of. Another thing you have to understand is when you engage in mate guarding, you're just pushing her further away from you. You're just pushing her into the arms of the next guy. And many times that guy's already there because, as I've said, women do not stay with guys that mate guard. They just don't. I gave you an example of when I was in Vegas. I was in a casino. I think I was at the Venetian, and there was a woman like playing on the slot machine by herself. Attractive woman, young woman. And I just politely sat down, started playing next to her, and I started a conversation, right? Started a conversation. She starts laughing. I'm making her laugh. I'm kind of like nagging her a little bit. I'm working a little bit of pickup artistry on her, a little bit of game. I don't know who she's there with. I didn't get to that question yet. But before I could, bam, 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 bam. You hear these footsteps like literally running towards us, right? I mean, you can hear this guy just charging at us from the other end of the casino and just like grab her and like, whoa, where'd this dude come from, right? And apparently that was his girlfriend. But it's that type of behavior like that. And you could tell the girl was embarrassed. It's like, okay, I could see this relationship is not going to last more than another few months. And I'm sure it didn't. I mean, I didn't really talk to her after that. I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that you were with her. I'm like, yeah, good for you, right? She's an attractive girl. You know, I gave him some shine because I know guys like that are very emotional, obviously, right? They're very reactive. So I gave him a little shine. I didn't throw any shade at him. He was appreciative, and then he walked off with her. And I'm like, I wonder how much longer that relationship will last. I remember also not that long ago, I was at a bar. I was talking to this chick at the bar. Also, I didn't know who she was there with. I tend to not ask that question until later. It's not part of my opening act to go, oh, who are you here with? You know, that's just kind of like a chump question. I just ask that later. Yeah, I don't ask that immediately, right? I usually like to open the girl with an egg. So I don't get to those other questions, like the logistical questions, until a little later when I get her laughing and, you know, she's starting to reciprocate flirtatiousness with me, and we're starting to get touchy-feely. Then I'm like, who you here with, girl? So I'm at this bar talking to this girl, very cute girl. She was like 20. I want to say she was like 20 with a fake ID. I'm talking to her, and I guess her guy came back from the bathroom, and I don't even know what she was doing. Maybe she's just like, this guy might have just been a friend, or I don't know who he was, but he wasn't like her boyfriend, but I guess he's interested in her. They know each other. They've been knowing each other. He's probably just in her friend zone, right? I never figured it out. But regardless, I'm sitting there talking to her, and I guess he came back from the bathroom. I see this big figure, this big dude sit down, and he's just kind of like eavesdropping and listening to what I'm saying. And I could tell, right? Because I have a lot of social awareness. I could tell, like, this guy's just like kind of eavesdropping in. And then at one point, he just, as I'm talking to her, and I'm like, hey, do you want to come outside and all this? And then he just kind of like stoops over like that, so I could see his, you know, big fat face. And he's like, you know, and just trying to give me like almost like a death stare, or like an intimidating stare, right? And I ignored him for a little bit, and then I finally looked over and I go, oh, are you guys together? And he doesn't say anything, tries to act like all tough. He's like, so I just continued to ignore him, and I'm like, anyway, so do you want to step outside for a second? And she told him, she was like, I'm going to go outside for 1 second. And he just looks at her like, right? And I just ignored him, because AMOGs are, as Mystery used to say, are just ugly girls, right? They're just ugly girls. So I just ignored him. And we went outside for a bit. I made out with her. Hi, Madison. How are you doing? Her name's Madison. Made out with her. She gave me her phone number, got her information, and then she went back inside and continued hanging with that dude, right? I still, to this day, don't know who he was or what he was about. I never contacted her after that. I just never got around to it. A lot of times I do that. I just, you know, I'm not hurting for dates, so I just never got around to contacting her. And then like a month went by, and I was just like, I'm just not gonna bother. You know, it was just like a quick makeout, quick cute girl I met in a bar, big deal. I'll meet another one tomorrow, right? Or if I see her again, great, I'll see her again. But regardless, that was also another low value example of a dude mate guarding. And you know, if that was her boyfriend, I mean, that's pretty funny that he let her walk out there with me. I don't think he was. I think he was just a dude in her friend zone. Maybe she might have kissed him at some point, and she just told him like, hey, no, I'm not interested in you that way. I just want to be friends. Who knows? Nonetheless, guys, when you're with a chick, get out of the scarcity mindset, okay? Any chick, right? You should never pedestalize any woman to the point where you feel like you have to like protect her from other dudes. Don't look at her. Don't look at my girl. Oh, stop checking her out. You know. No. And if you're dating a chick who gets off on getting attention from other men, and some women do, let's face it, man, a lot of women do, right? They just get off on getting attention from other men. Then you chose poorly. Okay? And you're not going to change, you're not going to be able to change that chick, right? It goes back to the fundamental metaphor that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You just can't, right? You can't turn a DG into a virtuous woman. So you got to start with the right partner, because you know, the good women that are out there, at least the ones that I can think of that I dated that were pretty, like, I would say they're good women, right? I had no problem with them or anything like that. They were just good women, right? They didn't go out of their way to try to get attention from other men while they're in the relationship with you, right? A girl who does that obviously is not girlfriend material. Okay, I don't need to tell you that. So in any case, guys, if you are mate guarding, or if you've done it in the past, let me know below. If you stop doing it, good for you. That means you've gone red pill and you understand that it is just, you know, a very, very low value beta behavior. I mean, it's almost on the same level as stalking, right? Which is probably the most foolish behavior you could possibly, you know, demonstrate to a chick. But regardless, drop your comments below, and I will see you in my next coaching video. I'm out.